Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with some creepy and mysterious videos. These are a compilation of videos that you just won't be able to unsee.
Jelly babies were originally called unclaimed babies, after the babies that would be abandoned on the steps of churches. In 1858, a Bradford sweet seller poisoned over 200 people with his humbugs when his supplier was accidentally sold arsenic. 20 people died. With the Adulteration of Food and Drugs Act in 1860, it was finally illegal to put lead, copper, and brick dust into the sweets. This and worse has been found in over 2,500 products in the UK. If you eat too much licorice, it has a laxative effect. You won't find Wonka bars in the UK unless it's an import. Even though they are the invention of British author Roald Dahl, the trademark is owned by Ferrero, an Italian company. Much like coffee shops, chocolate houses began to emerge in Europe in the late 17th century. In 1661, Oxford chocolate house claimed that chocolate could cure consumption, coughs of the lungs, infertility, clean the teeth, and provoketh urine. Chocolate's good, but it's not that good. Cadbury did not employ married women, and this only stopped when World War II brought labour shortages. In the Victorian era, there was a sweet called Kelly in a Coffin, where a little tiny candy baby was inside a sweet shaped like a coffin. This is not the only UK confectionery to reference death.
I can't lie, that video's got me rethinking my chocolate selection.
This video is only hundreds of years old. We were so more advanced than what we think. History is a complete lie. They are covering up something. This is definitely some sort of anti-gravity technology used by the ancient Tartarians. History is his story. These videos are not just it. There are pictures of the ancients using advanced technology that we do not even use to this day. Why are we not told about this? And why is this not in our history books? This looks like some sort of spirit technology to see the other side, or some sort of hologram technology. What do you think?
What do I think? I think the technology has been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. If you're someone who believes there's life off this planet, then I'm sure you're someone who believes that there are other civilizations out there that are millions of years ahead of us, spiritually and technically. So when we're talking about AI, spaceships, and all of that type of technology, that's been around for thousands of years. It's only now planet Earth is starting to catch up in terms of the technology that we're using. The only problem is the way we're using it.
People are saying that if you were to get your photo taken next to this woman back in the day, then you were almost guaranteed to be mega famous. That's right, people, and just wait until you see the list of celebrities that went on to have unbelievable careers after seeing this woman. Trust me, the list is endless. We've seen the likes of Will Smith, Tom Cruise, we've even got the man Bruce Willis. And look who's here. It's none other than Nicolas Cage. So who is this woman? And why did people go on to have incredible careers after being photographed with her? The research tells us that she goes by the name of Maria Snowes-Lagler, a former entertainment journalist and also part of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. However, the fun and celebrities most certainly does not stop there. Look, she's been pictured with Angelina Jolie and Indiana Jones, aka Harrison Ford. And just look at this, she's even had a photo taken with John Wick himself, aka a young Keanu Reeves. What an absolute legend.
Has he really just overgassed that? She was literally a journalist. She reports on celebrities, therefore she's gonna have enough photo ops.
I was invited to a secret A-list celebrities party. There were things that happened at this party that were so dark and so terrible that I have been afraid to talk about it until now. This goes back to almost 7 years ago when I was living in Los Angeles. I was a struggling actress. I was working as a dancer at a club. At this club, we would get a lot of clients that were high profile, especially in the music industry. On one particular evening, we had this very high profile client come in and request a VIP room. I I knew that this celebrity had a preference for Latino women, so when he requested a VIP room and actually requested me, I was quite surprised. And I went to do this VIP with a friend of mine that I worked with, did our job, did our thing, and at the end, he gave us a business card with his assistant's name and phone number and told us to call that number if we wanted to party after work that night. I was so not down for this, but the friend that I had done the VIP with told me that she's gone to one of his parties before and that he lives in the Hollywood Hills, has a really cool house. I was really apprehensive on going, but the night was really slow at the club that evening, so we actually ended up leaving early. I was not much of a party person or a drinker, so I was completely out of my element. I was literally there just for the bag. The party at this guy's house was not big or anything. I would say that there were probably less than 30 people in attendance, smoking and doing things that you can imagine are happening at celebrity parties. But one thing I couldn't help but notice is that amongst the people were some very, very young looking girls. At one point I look at my friend and I tell her, hey, like, don't some of these people look like way too young? That is when my friend told me that the assistant at the club wasn't the A-list celebrity's assistant. This guy is a recruiter. Basically what this person does is goes to parties, goes to clubs, and finds girls in a certain age range. And these young girls were being recruited to go to these parties, not to just hang out, but to engage in other unlawful things. This is actually not something completely uncommon in Los Angeles. In fact, this is something that happens a lot. I was completely dumbfounded and disgusted. I ended up leaving that night and never looking back on the whole entire situation until years later, I saw in a tabloid an accusation being made against this very celebrity of doing exactly what I just told you guys.
I'm not even surprised to hear that story. These stories are so frequent these days, it's unbelievable.
In 1992, something strange happened inside Buckingham Palace. The Queen's personal physician, Dr. John Cunningham, vanished. No obituary, no funeral, no press coverage. Why? Because this wasn't just any doctor. Dr. Cunningham was rumoured to be part of a classified research group studying genetic manipulation, human longevity, even royal bloodline enhancements. Sources say he was close to a breakthrough, a discovery that could have changed medicine forever. But days before he went public, he disappeared. No trace. Some say he was silenced. Others claim his research still exists, buried in the Royal Archives under Official Secrets Act protections. Was it just a disappearance, or the cover-up of the century?
I mean, that's so weird because allegedly Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's doctor also disappeared after delivering their baby.
Do you see this woman right here? Absolutely blows my mind that not enough people are talking about what she knew. Please listen carefully.
When I first started looking into the Dando, I reasoned like this. There's very little in Dando's character or background that suggests she had any enemies. Her seemed to me as though it had been planned and carried out at very short notice.
Crime Watch presenter helped to send dozens of criminals to jail was own doorstep today.
Jill was obviously a very well-known person there. She was the person that everyone went to with their own problems, and so she became sort of a focal point for compiling information about some of this. I mean, they said that Jill compiled a list of the complaints, but they said, well, she wasn't an investigative, the journalist herself. She was just a presenter, and she passed the information on to her next in line, and they gave it back to her, said, you know, they didn't want to touch it with a barge pole. Nobody wanted to know. That was the issue coming out.
So what did Jill Dando know about? What did she know about the BBC? What was going on behind the scenes? And why did this happen to her?
Jill Dando, what an interesting story. Maybe that's something we can deep dive, in fact, on the channel. Do comment down below trying to justify why Gary Glitter was caught with indecent images of children. Absolutely disgusting.
No.
To show my appreciation, I am inviting you all to a pizza party tonight at Jennifer Aniston's house. I'll see you there.
My parties were so great for everybody. I would always hear like the next week, like, oh, Sam, man, that was incredible, man. That was the best orgy I've ever been a part of, you know?
He was just joking though, right? I wonder what they're talking about here. Body language doesn't lie.
What Aniston will say to me in the middle of the night whenever I'm with her, something cool. She'll be like, you see? And I'll be like, no, you're right. This is great. This is great. And then the next morning, she'll text me and say, I know something, you know, Wednesday night if you want. I'll be like, come on, we just did that Saturday thing. Let's... We don't have to do too good.
I like them like I'm going to bed at 9. I can't come over. Your thing starts at 8:30. So
Yes, she can handle it. She
Yeah,
can handle it.
she
And her
can.
parties are incredible at her
yeah,
house, too.
yeah, she does have good parties, and she makes good pizza as well.
She makes great pizza,
Wonderful,
yes.
wonderful pizza. All right, just y'all are all like, whatever.
How was the pizza? Was it good?
Oh,
Did he make it
Amal's
himself?
pizza was better than Clooney's. They
yeah,
both made, everybody made a certain kind of pizza.
There's no pizza we didn't love.
Something that he doesn't.
5 different
do better
kinds.
than
5
everybody
different
else.
kinds or 6 different kinds of pizza that night.
Let's be
Clooney's was
quiet.
excellent.
Shut your trap.
Amal's was the winner.
Now I wonder why she told him to shut his trap.
We've known each other for years.
Yeah.
You've been to my house. We've had pizza. Girl after my own heart. Do we love pizza or
Yeah.
what? We love
Yes,
a
we
pizza.
do.
It's so much fun. Now, someone did. I was told that you recall a
I can assure you that nobody talks about pizza the way these celebrities talk about pizza. What is it with this pizza?
We should talk about that thing with Princess Kate.
Yeah. So have you seen Rosemary's Baby?
I have seen that movie.
Basically, there's a chick, she gets pregnant, they switch her doctor. The doctor ends up being someone who's grooming her. He's part of a satanic cult, and he takes her child, says it's been stillborn, but is actually taking the child and is now using it as part of this satanic ritual cult. So that is the boiled down thesis of the film. When Princess Kate presented her child to the world, she wore the exact same dress
as the mom. Like the exact same dress.
The exact same
What
dress.
Are we?
Should I say it too? The exact same dress. It's weird though,
It's
man.
weird.
She still hadn't popped up.
No.
Yeah, I mean, she has cancer, though, we think, right?
I don't know which one I prefer, that she's telling the truth or that this is true. There's there's a cult baby running around.
I don't want a cult baby.
Watch
There's
this,
a
y'all.
conspiracy theory that claims that we're already dead, and the evidence comes from science.
This is insane.
There are 2 things that are documented to happen when someone clinically dies.
Yep.
The first is that your entire life will flash before your eyes.
Common,
and the
very
second is that
common.
your brain keeps working 7 minutes after your body is gone. And we've literally recorded the brain still firing after death, actively creating memories. So for 7 minutes, we're in this dreamlike state where we're reliving our entire life.
How insane
And according
is
to this
that?
guy you may have heard of, Albert Einstein, time is relative. But what does that actually mean? This is suggesting that 7 minutes in the real world could feel like 100 years in the dream state. Kind of like when you fall asleep, you dream an entire movie, then wake up 5 minutes later. Now here's where it gets weird. Some people believe that we all died in 2012. That's when the Mayan calendar predicted the end of the world.
Everyone
and remember, this is all
remembers
just for
that.
fun, and this is just a conspiracy theory. This theory suggests that instead of an apocalypse, we collectively slipped into this 7-minute brain echo. And this right here, right now, is our dream. This is us reliving our memories. And little time glitches, little weird things like the Mandela effect, or like deja vu, or feeling like the world is off, those are just cracks in the memory trying to keep itself stitched together.
As crazy as that may sound, we can't disprove it. I don't agree with that because consciousness is alive.
The next time I saw him was in the London Bridge. And inside the chambers that are beneath it, the foundations of it, they would set up throne room with a black throne, obsidian color black granite. But then it had this fine gold inlay, just beautiful. And it was like light almost emanated from it. It was just beautiful.
This was under London Bridge?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And there's an old world tunnel system to this gathering point that the United States military tapped into back in the 30s and 40s during World War II when they built what's called Site 6 in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. It wasn't a city at all. It was just a desert. That is the cardinal point, a meeting place where the gods, these immortals, physically would meet and have parley. They would meet and interact there without threat of retribution and violence. They could have conversations there and make plans and renew covenants or break them at that site. That was a place where they would gather in the desert. So when Site 6 was built, they built in underground infrastructure to supply and resupply United States Army Air Base because the Air Force wasn't there yet. It was a rest and recuperation zone, a secret place where soldiers and pilots could come and rest. Site 6 is what it was named. It was a dot on a map, classified map. That's all it was. Robert P. McCulloch is who bought Site 6 from the military and from the state of Arizona. He bought the territory there. There was no lake. They built eventually what's called the Parker Dam. Parker Dam is what feeds the vast majority of water and electricity, not only to Phoenix, but over to Los Angeles. They built an entire tunnel system that takes that bloody infested water I just described to you. That's what people drink in these cities all over the West Coast that are in deserts. That's what people drink in Phoenix and Tucson. And they pump that water and that electricity, which is generated power from that iniquity. And they literally power up the world. That's their gathering place. When Robert P. McCulloch, he hired a man named C.V. Wood. This intermingles with the Jason projects and the people that are in Southern California that were doing secret scientific experiment projects on children and mind control operations. And they built a pleasure island in Lake Havasu City Lake, which is a sovereign territory of the city of London. It's an embassy for ambassadors. Different representatives of different nations can go there and are immune from prosecution, just like Disney World is in Florida. It is not United States territory. This is why when Governor DeSantis is trying to enforce taxes, they invoke a clause which says, oh, by the way, we're under the crown.
Yes.
Yeah, which crown? The red dragon. If you look at this, the heraldic symbol of the city of London, it is guarded by the red dragon.
And that was a very interesting one. Satan's throne room under the London Bridge. I'm literally about 10 minutes in the car away.
We are the first species.
Pay attention, people. Pay attention.
To be aware of evolution, to be aware that we are affecting our own evolution by everything that we do. The babies we eat, the food we eat, the wars we fight. We are.
Did she really just say the babies we eat?
The babies we eat. The food.
This guy is 18. This guy is 17. This guy is 17. This guy here is 16. Now David Walliams, he does the exact same thing to each individual person that he brings up on stage. First of all, he touches them and steals a kiss. That's all I can say, really. Watch. Look, he steals a kiss on them. Underage, most of these, by the way. And before we get all of these people out here screaming, that's just comedy, that's just funny, this is not funny. This is during the same act, might I add. This is what he did to all of those people that he brought up on stage. So the 16-year-olds and the 17-year-olds, yeah, this is how they ended up too. So again, before you start screaming, this is just comedy, this is just funny, you're too woke. Remember who it is that you're cheering for right now and what kind of actions it is that you're cheering on. And let me just point out as well that it isn't me making up all these kinds of claims and accusations. I'm not alone in the opinion that I have. Look, former BGT judge Piers Morgan tweeted yesterday, tip of the iceberg, Walliams is one of the nastiest frauds in TV. This is from Piers Morgan, who's worked directly with David Walliams. Anyway, so after learning all of that stuff about David Walliams, it came as no surprise, nor did it come as any kind of shock, that David Walliams has writ to this guy on numerous occasions whilst he was growing up. And it says down the bottom here, Jimmy Savile scandal, David Walliams and David Mitchell embarrassed, because both of these people wrote in their memoirs before the Jimmy Savile scandal broke. They both spoke about how they admired this man and they both looked up to this man and how they wrote to this man loads of times during their childhoods. I'm pretty sure everybody remembers the solid and long-term standing friendship that Jimmy Savile had with the royal family, don't they? So it came as absolutely no shock or surprise to me that I read and found out about this. David Walliams claims Prince Harry exposed his bottom before asking 7-word question. And that 7-word question was allegedly, come on Walliams, you wanna go? Now we're getting into the real nefarious stuff. This is from 2018 and it says David Walliams dumped by bookshops after men's club sexual harassment claims. And this is because on an event that David Walliams was a host on multiple different years, there was claims made of sexual harassment by the maids or the waitresses of the event, and David Walliams continued to return year after year amidst all of these claims that kept happening. regardless. And then came all the drama about David Walliams's books and his attacks upon children through his books. For example, this headline states David Walliams' book dragged into Australia's same-sex marriage debate. So this guy is not just acting towards children in performances on stage, but now he's actively targeting our children through his books. And according to this thread on Twitter, which is 5 years old, this states this thread about David Walliams raises so many red flags, allegedly inviting 16 and 17-year-olds to his dressing room, keeping up private email and text correspondence with a really odd tone, paying for a spa day for them, deeply inappropriate at best. And in November 2022, this ex-account said, "Is this going to stick? Because very serious, credible allegations from teenage girls did not." And this was in reference to David Walliams being kicked off Britain's Got Talent for making very serious sexual remarks about contestants on the show. So, all in all, between Andy and Lou from Little Britain, the pair of these two have allegedly got very, very nefarious and dark histories. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Don't forget to like and repost this video worldwide as well.
I can't lie, Little Britain was one of the best comedy programs on BBC. Every single scene, even the racist ones, were funny. But after hearing the antics of these two, I don't think I'll be seeing Little Britain the same again. Again, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. A bunch of creepy videos that you just won't be able to unsee. I need to know exactly what you guys are thinking, so make sure you leave all of your comments down below. Make sure we hit the like button. Do subscribe to the channel if we are newly watching. We've got plenty more content just like this uploading, so don't go anywhere. Turn your notification bells on. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.